The biggest danger in life is not the enemy you see in battle, but the poison that hides behind a smile. These are toxic people, manipulators, liars, parasites. They feed on your kindness and slowly drain your strength. Most people make the deadly mistake of fighting them directly and losing everything. But a wise strategist like Machiavelli would never do this. Today, I will share with you 7 cold laws for dealing with toxic people. Not with emotion, not with mercy, but with strategy. Remember, the fool argues, the wise man observes. The first law is this. Toxic people live off confrontation. They enjoy drama, arguments, and noise. The moment you fight them directly, you step into their arena, an arena where they are already trained to win. And they don't win with truth, they win by wearing you down. They will drain your energy little by little until you are exhausted and broken. The key is not to fight them head-on, but to stay silent. Silence is not weakness, it is strategy. Think of the hunter. He does not roar before striking the lion. He stays low, studies, waits. Only then does he know when and where to strike. In the same way, you must let toxic people expose themselves. They can't help it. They will always reveal their insecurities, lies, and need for attention. But you must resist the urge to respond. Let them believe they are in control, while secretly, you are the one gathering power in silence. Many strong people have fallen, not because they lacked strength, but because they wasted it. A toxic person wants you emotional, angry, defensive, desperate to prove yourself. But if you remain calm, if you refuse to react, you take away their greatest weapon. They expect a war, but instead they face silence. That silence makes them nervous because they cannot control what does not respond. But remember, silence is not passive. It is an active calculation. Every word they say, every move they make, you study and record. Each time they speak, you notice their weakness. Each time they act, you see their patterns. Like a general watching an enemy camp, you learn where their guard is low, where their ego blinds them, and where their mask slips. Over time, they reveal the path to their own destruction while believing you are too afraid to fight. This is the art of deception. The moment they underestimate you is the moment you become untouchable. But patience is required. Silence demands discipline. And discipline is power. The longer you refuse to engage, the more they unravel. They expect immediate resistance, but when you deny them the battlefield, they become restless and reckless. That is when you begin to control the situation, not by force, but by absence. You never fight fire with fire. You let it burn itself out. And once silence has done its work, you are ready for the second law, controlling the battlefield. Understand this. Power is always tied to the ground on which you fight. A toxic person is strongest in chaos, gossip, and confrontation. Their battlefield is noise. They want to drag you there because they know you will drown while they swim. But a strategist never fights where the enemy is strongest. He chooses the ground. He bends the rules of the game. Machiavelli himself advised rulers to never face rebellion in the streets where mobs gather strength. Instead, he shifted the fight into controlled spaces where the enemy was weak. You must do the same. Toxic people will try to provoke you at work, in public, in front of others. They will corner you in moments of weakness where emotions control you. Do not allow this. Remove the audience. Strip them of the chaos they rely on. Force interactions only where you have control. If they shout, you respond calmly and in private. If they accuse, you reply in writing, where every word is permanent and careful. If they attack when you are weak, delay until you are steady. By doing this, you make their weapons useless. It is not enough to avoid their traps. You must deny them the ability to set traps at all. If they want to fight in the mud, refuse. If they thrive on rumors, respond with facts. If they want emotional chaos, answer with cold logic. And if they try to paint you as the villain, stay in silence and patience until their mask cracks. Manipulation only works when the environment allows it. Control the environment and you cut off their influence. But be subtle. Do not announce your strategy. If they realize you are shifting the battlefield, they will resist. Instead, move quietly. Let them believe they are in control, while in truth you are pulling them onto ground where they are weak. By the time they notice, it will already be too late. Once you control the ground, you hold a new weapon: absence. You don't need words. You don't need direct confrontation. You hurt them most by starving them of the one thing they crave: attention. Toxic people do not feed on truth or justice. They feed on energy. Every sigh, every argument, every emotional reaction is fuel for their fire. Without attention, they wither. Your reaction tells them they have power over you, that they can disturb your peace and bend your emotions whenever they want. Once they see this, they will never stop. They will come back again and again, feeding on you like a wolf returns to the same wounded prey until nothing remains. But imagine if you gave them nothing. No reaction, no spark, no fuel. You deny them the very thing they crave: your acknowledgement. And what happens to a fire when no wood is thrown into it? It doesn't rage, it dies. A toxic person can insult, scream, or plot against you. But without your reaction, their words echo into emptiness. You must become deaf to their noise, blind to their gestures, and untouchable to their games. To them, this is worse than war, because war at least gives them meaning. Indifference shows them they are nothing. Machiavelli taught that a ruler should never waste resources on petty enemies, because attention raises their importance. The same is true here. The moment you argue with a toxic person, you put them on your level. You make them an opponent. But when you refuse to feed them, when you deny them even the recognition of conflict, you reduce them to dust. This is the ultimate humiliation. Of course, starving them of attention is not easy. Your pride will want to respond, your anger will demand revenge, your tongue will burn with words you want to throw back at them. But real power is not in reaction, it is in restraint. Every moment you do not respond, you grow stronger. Every silence you hold becomes a fortress they cannot break. You are not running from the fight. You are refusing to even grant them the honor of a fight. And in this way, you waste none of your energy. You remain whole while they destroy themselves with their own noise. But indifference alone is not enough. A toxic person will still look for cracks in your armor, for secrets to use, for emotions to twist, for fears to attack. That is why the next law is essential. It is not enough to be silent and cold. You must also wear masks. You must never show them what you truly think, feel, or intend. Because once silence has starved them, the fourth law reveals itself. Never hand them your truth. Understand this clearly. Truth in the wrong hands is not noble, it is a weapon. The moment it leaves your lips, it no longer belongs to you. A toxic person will never respect honesty. They will twist it, mock it, and use it against you. Tell them your weakness, and they will strike it. Share your fear, and they will magnify it. Reveal your heart, and they will poison it. To survive, you must never stand naked in truth. You must wear masks. Many believe honesty will earn them respect, loyalty, or love, but Machiavelli warned, men are not angels, they are wolves, and wolves devour lambs that walk unguarded. If you are pure honesty, then to a toxic person, you are a banquet. To survive, you must master concealment. Smile when you must, nod when you must, even agree when it serves you. But inside, reveal nothing. The mask is your shield, but also your weapon. Think of it not as a lie, but as a tool. The mask lets you project strength when you feel weak, calm when you are angry, and disinterest when you are calculating. A toxic person cannot fight what they cannot read. They will search your face for weakness, but the mask shows them only what you choose. That choice is power. The mask gives you control over what others see. You can show strength when you doubt, peace when you burn inside, or indifference when you are planning. To reveal nothing is to rob them of control. To show only what you decide is to control the battlefield of perception. Some will say this is deception, but ask yourself, is it betrayal to hide your gold from a thief? Is it wrong to keep your weapons hidden until the right time? Number. The mask is not betrayal, it is survival. You owe a toxic person no honesty because they will only poison it. You owe yourself protection, and the mask is your armor. The wise wear many masks, the agreeable ally, the polite listener, the harmless companion. But behind them all is the calculating mind, untouched and unseen. Let the toxic person attack the mask. They will tire themselves striking shadows, never realizing your true self is safe. Yet the mask is not only for defense, it is also a weapon. When you conceal your truth, you create uncertainty. They no longer know your intentions, your plans, your emotions. Uncertainty breeds fear. Fear makes them careless. Fear makes them desperate. And in desperation, they expose themselves. The mask, then, is more than protection. It is a trap. Because once the toxic person reveals themselves fully, you are ready for the next law. The fifth law teaches how to destroy without striking, how to let others and circumstances bring down the toxic one while your mask remains untouched. This is the art of the indirect strike. Direct conflict is costly. Even if you win, you lose time, peace, and energy. The true art of power is victory without fighting. That is why you must master indirect attack. A toxic person always reveals themselves, their arrogance, their lies, their hunger for attention. These are weapons turned inward. All you need is patience. Place them where their lies clash with each other. Let them promise more than they can deliver. Let them show cruelty too openly until others see their real nature. When the time is right, you step aside and their own flaws destroy them. But circumstances are not the only weapon. People themselves can be your allies, even unknowingly. Why fight a toxic person directly when their arrogance will offend someone more powerful than you? Why waste energy when their manipulation will one day catch the eye of someone sharper? Position yourself so you are never the main target, only the observer. When others move against the toxic one, you do nothing. You let them. They bleed themselves dry while your hands remain clean. This is the brilliance of indirect strategy. Your enemy falls, but your image stays untarnished. Your power grows while they collapse under their own poison. You win, not by striking, but by letting others and circumstances strike for you. No one can accuse you of scheming because you never spoke a word. No one can call you a traitor because you never struck the blow. The toxic person is not destroyed by your attack, but by the weight of their own lies and the judgment of those they once fooled. And when the storm ends, who is left standing unharmed? You. Because you did not fight, you simply endured. And endurance, many times, is the strongest weapon of all. History is full of victories won this way. Machiavelli himself admired leaders who defeated enemies not with armies, but with patience and strategy. To let others fight on your behalf is not weakness, it is mastery. The greatest rulers often allowed their rivals to destroy each other while they appeared as the voice of peace. This too is what you must learn. Do not see the toxic person as an enemy to crush with your own hands. See them as a fool who, when placed in the right conditions, will destroy themselves. And when that happens, you remain free of guilt, free of blood, free of weakness. But waiting is not always enough. There are poisons too dangerous to leave untouched. There are parasites that cannot simply be weakened, but must be removed completely. This is where the sixth law comes in, the sharpest and coldest of them all. Cut without warning. There comes a point when patience is no longer wisdom, but poison. Observation, masks, silent control. These are survival tools, but survival is not the same as freedom. Sometimes the toxic one must not only be exposed, but erased from your life. When you cut clean and without warning. Mercy, in such moments, is weakness. Delay only allows the venom to spread deeper. A ruler who hesitates invites rebellion. A man who delays invites endless suffering. Most people make the mistake of giving warnings or explanations. They prepare the toxic one for the break, and in doing so, give them time to beg, threaten, manipulate, or poison others against you. Machiavelli warned against this very thing. A clean strike is feared, respected, and permanent. A delayed strike invites revenge. When the time comes, you do not argue. You do not explain. You do not negotiate. You end it quickly and without hesitation, like the executioner who swings the blade. This is not cruelty, though the weak will call it so. It is clarity. Toxic people never change because you reason with them. They will not reform because you shared your pain. The more you explain, the more weapons you hand them. The more you hesitate, the deeper they root themselves in your life. Cutting is not punishment, it is survival. It is ending the cycle before it destroys you. Think of a surgeon who finds an infection. Does he debate with it? Does he wait another week to see if it heals itself? Number. He takes the knife and cuts away the disease. You must be the same. Cold, precise, unshaken. If you must block, you block. If you must walk away, you walk without turning back. If you must end a relationship, you disappear as if it never existed. Harsh, yes, but necessary. To hesitate is to remain a prisoner. And when you cut, something remarkable happens. The toxic one who once lived on your reactions now faces emptiness. No weapon, no stage, no audience. They scream into the void, but the void gives nothing back. That is the power of decisive separation. It destroys not only their control over you, but also the illusion that they ever had it. And from that silence, you rise to the seventh and final law, the crown of them all. Always win in silence. Understand this. The greatest victories are not shouted. They are not displayed. They are lived. A toxic person craves your reaction. If you argue, you prove they matter. If you defend yourself, you show their attack worked. If you try to prove them wrong, you give them importance. But when you remain silent, when you refuse to acknowledge them, you cut off the oxygen they breathe. Silence is not weakness. Silence is power. It is the refusal to play their game. It is declaring that they no longer exist in your world. Every success you achieve, every step you rise, every joy you live is louder than 1,000 arguments. Your silence tells them they never mattered. What greater defeat can there be for someone who lives only to be noticed? Think of rulers crushing rebels. They do not argue with them. They simply move forward, stronger than before. The rebel screams, but the state marches on, untouched. You must be the same. Silence becomes your fortress. While they rage, you rest. While they plot, you build. While they poison themselves with anger, you grow. And silence is more than protection. It is strategy. When you do not explain yourself, you create uncertainty. They do not know if you are planning, if you are watching, if you are untouchable. Their fear grows not from what you do, but from what you hide. In silence, you become larger than life. They cannot measure you, predict you, or control you. Many waste their lives trying to prove themselves to others. They argue endlessly, seeking approval. But Machiavelli knew the truth. To beg for approval is to kneel. Real power is not in being understood. It is in being undeniable. You do not need the toxic one's recognition. You let silence declare that you are beyond them, beyond their poison, beyond their little world. And in that silence, you do not just survive them, you transcend them. Silence is the purest victory. It leaves no scars, no chains, no trace. It is walking away without leaving them the satisfaction of your anger. It is living so free that their shadow cannot follow you. Once you master this, you no longer fear them. You have starved them, masked yourself, shifted the field, struck indirectly, cut them off, and now you rule in silence. But silence is not the end, it is the beginning. For once you learn to win in silence, you enter a world where power is no longer defense, but creation. Where your life is not shaped by toxic people, but by the empire you build without them. Remember this, toxic people will never disappear. They will always exist, scheming, deceiving, spreading envy and lies. But now you hold the laws Machiavelli himself would approve. Your strength lies not in naive kindness or blind forgiveness, but in clarity, precision, and strategy. Do not waste your life fixing what was never broken in you. Do not tie yourself making peace with those who thrive on conflict. Instead, stand above them with the laws you have learned. Limit their power, cut their influence, use their nature against them, and when the time comes, act decisively. Never doubt, never hesitate. Toxic people are not barriers to your greatness. They are the test of it. They are the fire that forges your steel. To master them is to master yourself. To outwit them is to rise above the games of the weak. And when you rise untouched and unbroken, you will embody what Machiavelli taught centuries ago, That power, once taken with wisdom and precision, can never be stolen. So go forward. Do not be naive. Do not be passive. Do not be prey. Be the one who sees through the mask, who controls the game, and who walks away untouched by poison. That is survival. That is power. That is the true Machiavellian art.